So it's saying we're live. So morning everyone, and morning Figsy Games. What is your
Hey,
real
hey, how's it going?
name? Because obviously Figsy's not your real name.
So I'm Jared. Nice to meet you.
Nice
And
to meet you
you're
too. I'm
James.
James. Yeah, as it
Nice to
says
meet you,
in
James.
the corner there. So what I wanted to do, what's really important for my channel is to get people from all over the world really who do reselling, and your story really interested me because you're not just a reseller, but I'll let you introduce yourself to the audience who don't know you, and then I'll do a bit of an introduction to me to the audience who don't know me. So yeah, over to you.
Hey guys, I'm Figsy. I'm 29. I live in Australia, and I've been game collecting for almost 10 years and reselling for 2 to 3 years. Pretty seriously for the last 6 to 12 months. Yeah, I've got a pretty serious game collection. I've got a complete PS3 set. That took me a very long time to establish. I've been streaming on Twitch for a long time. I since moved over to YouTube, and now I make YouTube videos 1 to 2 every week. Um, and yeah, I sell on eBay full time and do YouTube full time. Yeah, but I'm back to you,
Okay,
Jeff.
perfect. No, that sounds. We'll talk about your gaming stuff as well because
Hey,
I'm into
Langers, how's it
gaming, so
going?
it'd be quite cool. Yeah, we'll get Langers up here. I don't know Langers, so I'm guessing is he Australian?
Yeah, Langers is from the YouTube channel. I'm not sure if Langers is Australian or not, but he's definitely one of the viewers.
Perfect. Well, welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoyed today. Yeah, so I'm James. I'm from the UK, just outside of London. I've been reselling now for nearly 2 years. I've only just recently started my YouTube channel. So I woke up this morning to say I've got 250 subscribers, which I'm over the moon with.
Nice.
And
Congratulations,
yeah,
man.
thank you. And at the moment, I'm an everything seller. So I buy and sell everything you can imagine. But most
Langers is an
recently,
Aussie. With a name like Langers, he had to be an Aussie.
is he Aussie? Okay, that's cool. Let's have a look there. Yeah, Melbourne. Okay, I know Melbourne. Other places in Australia I might not know, but yeah, most recently I picked up 4,000 books. So I've turned into a bit of a book reseller recently, and that's partly Mel's fault from back from burnout, and we'll speak about Mel shortly. One of the channels that we both follow. So yeah, that's a bit about me. But what I was keen to find out about, what is it you enjoy about reselling, and why do you resell?
Well, I'll take you back to 2019. I just started selling games on the side. Hey, Andy, that's my buddy who lives
Hi Andy,
locally with me.
welcome.
And then this thing called COVID-19 hit, which we're all aware
Mm.
of. And suddenly my hobby, game collecting, became expensive. But I was also selling games. And I'm like, well, what I'm selling, I'm making more money. So I need to start selling more to be able to collect more. Fast forward 12 months, the end of 2020, I was working in a supermarket and I didn't really enjoy it. And then I got the chance to work in a pawn shop. And I jumped at the chance. This is a pawn shop that I went to every day and bought games from every day. So they knew me really well, and it was close to my old work, so it just worked with me. I got offered more money and better hours. That was a no-brainer, so I took that job with the promise that I was going to start an eBay store for them because they didn't have an eBay store. And I thought that was exciting because I'd walk through the shop and there would be like an anime section. There would be brand new things here, lots of cool stuff. So I'm like, this would be fun to sell stuff in here.
Yeah.
Lots of video games. Like I was buying them and selling them. I'm telling the guys like, there's expensive games there that's just sitting there. Like, and then fast forward to today. Actually, fast forward to May. I decided to not leave but go part time. And that brings me to today. So I work a couple of days a week, just running an eBay store for a pawn shop. I get to sell really exciting things, high-end watches, high-end cameras, brand new electronics, jewelry, gold, silver, just stuff that us regular people aren't really going to get into unless it's your niche hobby. But so I sell a range of everything. which given me so much experience in eBay, especially like on the postage side of things, on the return side of things. You might not know this, but you probably have, from my experience, more returns with more expensive items. However, a lot of the times you can then resell that item, because when someone spends over $1,000 and one particular thing isn't right, they are going to return it. So yeah, it is very, very interesting. That translates to Figsy stops us all finding cheap games at our local pawn shop anymore.
So you killed the gaming market in Australia. You haven't killed it. You took it all for yourself, is what he's trying to say here.
Oh no, we live in the same town, so it's a small shop and there's a bigger pawn shop in town.
So that moves on nicely, actually, to my next question I was going to ask you. How do you source your gaming in Australia? I'm not asking you to give away all your tips and tricks, but where predominantly do you pick up games from? Because it might be slightly different to the UK.
Okay, I'll answer that question by sort of explaining what I sell now, because I don't just sell games now.
Mm-hmm.
I was just selling games and I was making money, but I wasn't making serious money. It was just a hobby. But then from selling stuff at work, I started going out and being like, oh, I sold this at work. I might pick this up and sell it myself. And then fast forward to today, I sell video games, books, DVDs, CDs, toys, coins, you name it. If I can make money out of it, I'll sell it on eBay. I think 30% of my sales are video games, so it's still my focus. And I pay a little bit more money for video games because my audience is predominantly video games and my followers on eBay have come from video games. I like to sell high-end titles. So then in terms of sourcing, my other stock mainly comes from thrift shops, charity shops, op shops, pawn shops. I'm not allowed to sell anything from the pawn shop I work at, so I don't do that.
Sure.
For obvious reasons. However, I am allowed to pick up stuff for my collection, so that's a bonus for me. It's giving me the opportunity to pursue a pretty big PS4 collection over the last 12 months.
I was about to ask, what is that collection to your side there? So that's the PlayStation 4 collection, is it?
Yeah, so I've been working on the PS4 for a few years now, but especially in the last 2 years, I've really, really been going hard on it.
Wow.
I also go to garage sales once a week, which is where I get a lot of my other items from for a good price. And then in terms of video games, I do a lot of sourcing for other collectors. I have friends in countries like Indonesia who get expensive games for cheap, and they sell them to me for a good price, but with enough profit for me to still be able to buy them. And these are titles that as soon as I get them, people want them, so they're not sitting on the shelf for a long time. So I'm prepared to pay $200 to make $50 if it's going to be in a couple of weeks. And you want good stock in your store. You don't want to have a house or a shelf full of crap. You want to have really good items. So
no, absolutely makes sense. So how many games in your collection would you say you have in total? You might not have the exact number, or you might have the exact number.
I have the exact number for you.
You do? Okay, that's a real collector when they've got the exact number. A real collector has the
exact number.
Of course, it's always interesting to know how many, because you think about PlayStation 3,
So I have 4,085 games in the collection.
Wow. And growing as well.
And constantly growing. That doesn't include systems. Now that's PS1 to 5, and then a little bit of Nintendo Switch, 3DS, DS, a couple of Pokemon games on the Game Boy, Wii U. Sure. I don't collect Xbox anymore, and I don't collect for the Vita or the PSP. A house filled with Anthem on PS4. And that's no duplicate titles. I either have individual titles or variants. There's no two games that are exactly the same.
Sure. And do you look at quality for your own collection? Like, for instance, does the game have to be in mint condition?
So
or
every single game in my collection's got a manual. There's no ripped labels. Everything's black label. And to example that, I'll show you my PS2 collection. There's no platinum titles in there. Same with the PS1 collection.
Okay,
That
so you're
goes
quite
throughout the
strict on what you
entire
do pick
collection.
up then.
If I do pick up a title that is incomplete, it goes on a list that's incomplete, and I focus on filling that list pretty quickly. So, yeah, quality goes first for me. I don't pick up crap. Collecting for so long, you eventually only want to have really good stuff in the collection. So,
Sure. And what is your markets when you do come to your reselling part? So you've got eBay in Australia. What other sites can you use to resell online?
so I only use eBay.
Hmm.
We have Facebook Marketplace, which I do a lot of buying off. However, I personally don't like dealing with people on Facebook, so I don't sell on Facebook.
On the same, yeah, a lot of time wasters where they say they're going to come at a certain time and then never show up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have a site called Gumtree, which isn't
Mhm.
really used much anymore, but it used to be really popular. When I first started collecting, I source a lot off Gumtree. I don't bother about it anymore. Um, I know we've got Etsy, but I personally don't use Etsy. We've got Amazon. I've tried to sign up for a seller. I've had a bit of trouble, so I really have to work on that. But Amazon's only been in Australia for a few years, so it's mainly just brand new stock. I don't believe we have a secondhand market at all on Amazon. However, I've been picking up like as many brand new DVDs as I can in the plastics. I'll eventually sell them on Amazon.
Yeah,
Gumtree's in the UK. It's mostly
yeah,
abandoned.
absolutely right. It is abandoned. It's very rare people use Gumtree. So we've got similar in the UK. What you mentioned. So we have Facebook Marketplace. Amazon's bigger in the UK than Australia, I believe. I'm speaking to a few other Australian people.
I would say so. A lot of the
So
stuff I buy off Amazon comes from the UK.
yeah, so Amazon's quite big for games in the UK. But what I have found, and I don't know if it's the same for the Australian market, when we go out to our, well, I think you call them thrift stores or op shops, is that right?
Yeah, usually op shops or thrift stores is more American, but I
American
play it for
op
YouTube.
shops. Yeah. So when we go to what we call a charity shop, which is like your op shop, or a car boot sale or jumble sale, which is a bit like your garage sales, etc., we
We
struggle
have
to.
garage sales. It's just at people's houses.
Yeah.
We have markets and stuff like that, but not really many where I live. I went to a fate sale last weekend,
Sure. Yeah.
which was actually at a retirement home, so that was kind of interesting. And they just had books, and I found sealed ABC DVDs for like $1 each. So that was, and BBC, so that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, they're always worth going to them fate sales. But I must admit, in the UK, when I go to the car boot sale, which is a bit like your market, it's really hard now to find computer games because people know what they're worth more so in the UK. And also the
Same here.
amount of other resellers who are straight on it in someone's boot, any games, any games, any games, they go from car to car to car to car. So you've got to be really lucky to find something. You don't go to a car boot sale anymore and find a box Nintendo 64.
Yep.
You don't find that kind of thing anymore. But
And it's the same here.
so you've
And
got to
I've
be
been
quick on the mark.
going out to these places for like I've been doing this for almost 10 years, but I used to just look for video games and I would get them at almost every single place.
Sure.
And I used to come out with a PS1 in the bag for $10 and
Yeah.
a stack of games for $10. And these days you're lucky to pull anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, spot on. So with regards to reselling, why do you do it? What is it you enjoy most about reselling for yourself?
I like reselling. I like eBay. I enjoy listing. I put a YouTube video up and work, and I don't. It's work, but like I enjoy it. I can get a lot done in a short amount of time. Been doing it for a long time, so my processes are pretty good. If I'm listing, say, just PS3 games, I can list 60 in pretty much like 70 minutes. I can get a lot of work done. That's not taking the photos, that's just listing them. And then, all you got to do is package the stuff up, go to the post office, and it's a lot of money to be made for a short amount of work. So I enjoy it. It was a side hobby that turned into what is now my career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy it. Like, it's not that much work. It is, but it isn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
going out sourcing's part of the job, but I enjoy that because I was doing that anyway.
yeah, absolutely. I know that feeling because eBay for me started, like you say, as a hobby, and then it turns into a job. But I love the freedom. You know, I do eBay full time. I work from home, which is nice. But I do love the freedom of it. The difficult thing is sometimes when you work for yourself, you can go one of two ways. You can either work too much, and I sometimes find myself working till 10, 11 at night. But you can also go the other way where you do become at times a bit lazy to be like, you know, I'll take today off, I'll take tomorrow off kind of thing. And what I found more recently is it's okay to take some time off, but make sure you have drafts in the bank to prepare for it, because eBay, as you probably know, likes that activity, likes that constant listing going up, likes your store to be active to get the best sales.
Well,
So
I must admit, I'm a workaholic because I've never taken time off since I started eBay. I'm just laughing at the comment down below because I had me and another friend had a market store like 2 years ago. And it was when I just met Andy, and he walked into the markets before they opened and bought half our inventory.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it? Because I have this, it happens here in the UK, and I must admit, I'm guilty of it as well at times. So if they say the jumble sale opens at 10 o'clock in the morning, you know, I'm probably parked up at the road about 9:15. Won't necessarily get out of the van at that time, but normally around 9:30, I'm looking around hovering. And if I see someone else go,
I won't get out.
Sure. If you see someone else go to the house, you're straight away thinking, you know, I don't want them to get all the good stuff. I better get out of the van now and go. But I think it's all about, you know, being courteous. You ask the person, is it okay to have a quick look? And if they say they're not ready yet, absolutely fine, and walk away. I think a lot of people understand that. So
yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
So how long have you been on YouTube for then? Because you've got quite a few subscribers now on YouTube. So talk about your YouTube journey.
So I was streaming on Twitch back in 2017. You asked me a question, I'd change the subject.
No, it's fine.
We'll just talk about one thing without the other.
No, before you answer it, that's quite funny. You got banned last weekend with that, yeah.
I will mention that. Okay, I'll talk about this.
We'll go to that. We'll go to that.
I'll go to this one first. So I seen an ad on Facebook at 11 o'clock at night. Video games, blah, 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 PS1 games. But anyway, this guy lived half an hour away.
Sure.
So I got there at 7:30 in the morning, woke up at like 6:30 to do it. First one in, looking through the games, and he's like, "Oh, mate, all the PlayStation games are gone already. Someone picked them up last night." It's just like that scene from The Simpsons where Ralph Wiggum is like heartbroken. It's just but I still had a good day, so you know, nevertheless.
But that's what I was saying earlier. You've got to be so quick. I mean, even on Facebook Marketplace, something will go up and within 2 minutes it's gone if it's really good. So you've got to kind of be on it the whole time. So I'll be keen to find out your strategy as a way behind that, whether you just constantly are looking through Facebook, or whether you have alerts set up, etc.
But let's talk about persistence. I've been doing this for a very long time.
Just keep going.
Persistence pays off. You know, you do the same shops every single week. Eventually they pay off.
Yeah.
But I'll go back to my YouTube journey.
Yeah, perfect.
So I was streaming on Twitch. I had quite a good following on Twitch. And to continue to grow that following, I was making content for YouTube. So I'd put together like PUBG videos or whatever else I was doing. I was making custom games, so we'd put that up. And then, you know, I get like 100 views, 50 views. And then anyway, I put a video game collection up because I do this on the side as well.
Yeah.
And people loved it, especially PS3 collectors. In particular, there wasn't really a definitive video series on rare and collectible PS3 games. So I started a rare and collectible PS3 game series. As I said before, I've got a free full set. So I went through my entire collection and pulled out 150 titles that I'm like, these are the pinnacle of PS3 games, or the hardest to me, that what other people say they are. And people absolutely love the series. And then, since then, I've just started making a video a week. Now 2. I love YouTube. I get great responses from everyone, and I'm just having so much fun on YouTube. And now I've incorporated reselling videos into my channel. Not everyone's likes it, but the new people make it so much worth it. So I'm continuing doing this new content.
So it sounds quite cool on your YouTube channel. You seem to have two different audiences now. So you've got your gaming audience, but you've also got your reselling audience as well. And they kind
Exactly.
of link
I
into
wouldn't
the
even
two at
call them a
times.
gaming audience. Like, you could even say 3 because you've got people that used to follow me on Twitch for just watching me playing games.
Sure.
And then you've got this whole fan base of people wanting to collect. So it's and then you've got everyone from reselling. So it is quite interesting. And I put out a wide range of videos. People have said, why don't you make another channel? But that's not me. Like, I'm Figsy. I just want to do my thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather people want to watch me for myself rather than the content I'm putting out.
Of course.
And if you look back through my channel, I've made really interesting videos. I'll do like GeoGuessr videos, or I've done videos where I've gone on Omegle and just talked to random people and had my collection in the background and they reacted to that. And,
Sure.
I've done a video where I've just cooked in the kitchen and people enjoyed that. So, yeah, I have fun.
Yeah, I think that's important for YouTube because people want to watch people they feel they can relate to and they like as well. It's really important. You can put out so many videos of just about the games you collect or what you pick up at the op shop, etc. But people want to get to know the real you. So I think them videos are kind of actually, I don't just do this reselling. I don't just do gaming. This is all about me as well. So
yeah, and it's
I think
those 10, 15, 20 people in the comments every week who have been there for 2 years since, I had 100 subscribers and are still watching, and they're loving the journey. And, that's what it is. It's a journey. I pretty much put my life out there on YouTube. So if you've been following for a long time, you get to come along with the journey. So
Amazing.
yeah, it's exciting.
And what advice would you give to a new YouTuber? So someone like myself, who's only just over a month into YouTube, what advice would you
you're
give me
at 250 subscribers in 1 month, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So what advice would you give me to help grow my channel and to make sure I stay sort of consistent?
And this is actually really disappointing because I wish it wasn't this way, but YouTube rewards consistency. So you're better off putting out 4 bad videos a month than 1 good video, because that's just how YouTube is. I'm not saying to do that, but
no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, make sure you're getting out at minimum a video a week. I would say, unless you're making fantastic 45-minute videos that people are averagely watching like 20 minutes, you need to be doing 1 a week at minimum. Yeah, and try and post it at the same time every week, consistently. That's my biggest advice. And then you'll either plateau, you'll grow, or you'll go down. If you're plateauing or you're going up, you're not doing a bad thing. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're going down, you might need to mix up and change your content. You shouldn't have to ask people, in yourself, if your content's doing well. And to say that you've only been doing it a month, man, that's actually really crazy. I would say my first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube took over 12 months, and it was constant grinding. I had over 200 videos put out before I seen any success on YouTube.
Yeah, I think for me that constant grind is important. For me, I don't mind being consistent because that's what eBay is for me. So I've got that in me. But what's important for me is I grow the right audience, because you could easily, and I'll get messages on Instagram, funnily enough, grow your YouTube channel, message us, DM us, and we'll help you get to your 1,000 subscribers overnight. No, that's fine. But then we've got 1,000 people who don't actually watch your content. And to have people on there who aren't watching your content is pointless, because it doesn't get watch hours up and people aren't actually interested in your content. So Andy's also saying, we just watch to get cheap games. So it sounds like you've got a few followers on your channel who just actually only watch you to get the cheap games.
Sorry, I've been sick, so I'm just getting over the flu.
You're all good.
My friend certainly picks up games on my recommendation. I'll put a video out and he'll send me a screenshot of him buying all the games I've just talked about.
Sure.
But it's funny that you say that. Like, if you go back to the first PS3 series that I did, A lot of those games are now expensive, and people are really appreciative of me putting the content out because they were able to buy them when they were cheap.
So that's quite good. You give your subscribers advice on what to look out for and what to pick up as well for their own collection, or whether they want to resell it is cool. But what was your best? Do you know your best pickup? Whether it be the rarest game you have in your collection, or whether it be the item you've picked up maybe for $1 or so and sold it for $400. What was your best pickup?
I'll put it down to two because
Yeah.
these two stories are both incredible. So the first one was a game that I bought from a company called Limited Rare Games. Now they're a joke company because there's all these companies these days in the video game market that produce low print games to artificially inflate the price.
Yeah.
So they made a joke company, and it was on Twitter. Send random money to this PayPal email if you want game. Anyway, I'm like, why not? I'll just do it. You're covered by PayPal.
Yeah.
Anyway, this game called Tamishi arrived 2 years later.
Okay. 2 years.
And then probably 5 or 6 other 100 people in the world got copies. And we're all like, hey, we got this rare game. And it was suddenly selling on eBay for $300 or $400. So that was pretty cool. And I've got other games that are, selling for $400 or $500, even up to $1,000. But then something happened 2020, 2021. This game just exploded. And a copy sold for $2,000 Australian.
Wow.
And I just said to myself, this game isn't worth that. Like, I just put it up on eBay for $3,000, not expecting anything to happen. I haven't sold one game from my collection, but at that price, I would rather own so many more things than this.
Yeah, you could buy a lot of games for $3,000. Yeah.
And then one morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't sleep. I roll over. There's an offer for $2,500. I'm like, right, I'll accept it, because that was the figure in my head. That I probably had 100 people counter offer me, and maybe 20 of them were over $1,000. So it was crazy. So I was counter offering everyone with $2,500. They're all,
and that was your kind of lowest limit.
I went back to sleep, thought, right, nothing of it. He's not going to pay.
Yeah.
Woke up and he paid for it. I'm like, oh my god.
What's going on?
I'd sold expensive things at work before, but never for myself.
Yeah.
So it cost me like $190 to post this because I paid for insurance on the value of the item, and
yeah, absolutely.
Like, I was covering myself. I recorded myself packaging it up.
I bet you were so nervous, weren't you, shipping this out?
I wasn't nervous when I shipped it. I was nervous once he received it, because that's when I knew something could happen.
Yeah.
So I didn't spend the money right away. I waited, but he left positive feedback. Everything was all good.
What a relief!
So $2,500 for a game that I bought for $50.
Amazing.
So that was pretty cool. It actually happens.
Amazing.
But then, hey Tat, how you going?
Tat's in. So yeah, fairly new subscriber here. Recommended James by Mel from Back from Burnout. I know Mel's been shouting me out quite a bit, so I really do appreciate what she does for me. And as I say, she's really supported me with growing this YouTube. And it was her kick up the arse what really got me to do it, to be honest. She just said, go back and watch my first video. Look how bad it was compared to now, and just start your channel. And that's what I've done. So hopefully my video.
Don't watch my first video. It's terrible. Unless you're a PUBG fan.
After today, I'm going to watch your first one. But hopefully I'll get my channel to.
Actually, my first video was back in like 2016 of me just sitting in front of my game shelves with an iPhone going, hey guys, this is my games.
Your hand shaking, yeah.
And it's got 5,500 views.
I know. You think, how's it got that many? But yeah, thanks Tat Dotter for subscribing. I see you on lots of the UK live chats as well. So no, I really appreciate that.
I love Mel. I've been watching a few Aussie resellers, and I watch every single one of Mel's videos.
Yeah.
And some of the ideas that we'll talk about in this podcast have actually come from her that I've implemented in my store and it's increased my sales. So
amazing. Well, let's talk about that now then, because I know we had a little chat beforehand. But if we talk about the Australian resellers you follow, you might follow hundreds, but I follow Mel, I follow yourself, and I think it's the Aussie Flipper.
the Aussie Flipper from the Gold
Aussie
Coast.
Flipper.
I'll
So
also
I follow.
give the Gold Coast picker a shout out. He is a very, very experienced reseller. He's been reselling for over 20 years, has his own store on the Gold Coast, and he'll just walk through garage sales, and his knowledge blows my mind. So I definitely recommend the Gold Coast picker, guys.
Yeah. And do you follow
But
any in the UK? Do you follow any in the UK? Because there seems to be a bit of a crossover with Australia and UK when it comes to resellers.
I have a terrible memory, so I'm going to search my subscribers, because I do watch one from the UK. I watch a couple from America.
Yeah.
Commonwealth Picker.
Yeah.
Hairy Tornado, obviously. I watch New York Picker. I really enjoy.
Yeah. Hi, Rich. Rich is from the UK, Night's Life. He actually goes to a car boot sale not too far from me. So, yeah, Rich, thanks for joining.
I watch a lot of collectors who sort of sell on the side. So a couple from the UK, but again, I'm not very good with names.
No, that's all right. Don't be silly. So yeah, tell us some of the things that Mel's videos has sort of taught you to implement and some success.
Well, recently she did a video about putting an eBay store video in. eBay have just implemented a new thing where you can add a video to your store, and I added a video to my store. And my sales conversion rate in the 6 weeks since I've done that have gone from 2.8% to 3.3%, which doesn't sound like much, but that's a very significant increase.
It's a huge number, yeah. And that's just by implementing that video on your storefront. So when people click on your store, they've got a bit of an intro into you and what you do.
Yeah, and I have a theory that it actually hasn't got anything to do with the video. It's got all to do with eBay want every single seller to have a video. So if you have the video now, eBay are going to be like, let's reward these sellers and pump their content up.
Yeah.
And like, whether the video works or not, that's exactly what's happening. So I would suggest it to everyone, whether you stream, make YouTube videos, or just resell, you don't have to put your face in it, but I recommend putting a video up.
Yeah, it's on my to-do list actually this week, because I watched Mel's video and it's actually quite cool the way she done it, where if you don't want to put your face on there, you don't have to. You know, you don't have to have a camera pointed at you, this is me, blah, blah, blah. You can just do a nice little video. But I completely agree. If eBay's asking for it, it's worth doing, because you're right, they're going to reward you for that. So
I did something a bit different. I showed my game collection and said, I'm a game collector, so you're getting your games from someone like-minded like yourself, and showed them my eBay store, and I enjoyed the video. I'm actually going to make a video soon talking about it, so good. Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
So Mick's in the chat, and he said after seeing Mel, and more recently with myself, he decided to give YouTube a go. Yeah, absolutely, Mick. As I say, I was so nervous doing my first YouTube video. I think my first video was 2 minutes long, and I think it took me about 3 hours, because I kept cutting it. I kept thinking it's not good enough. And in the end, I thought, you know what, just get one out there. And it becomes a bit of it's a bit of excitement. And actually, every day I wake up and I think to myself, what other ideas have I got? And I've got thousands of ideas in my head, but I want to make sure I sort of plan it. I think about it a bit more. But like you were saying earlier, just especially when you are first starting, just get some videos out there, get your name out there, get some subs, and hopefully grow it from there.
Yeah, I would suggest also getting on other platforms.
Yeah.
Getting yourself on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You have to, if you don't like the platform, don't be on it, but it's worth doing that. I'm even on TikTok. I've got a Discord group with almost 200 members in it. And it's mainly just collectors who resell to each other. We trade in the Discord group. It's actually one of my favorite places to hang out, so that's pretty cool.
I was about to ask you about TikTok, actually, because I've seen a lot of gaming people on TikTok, game collectors and people who play games.
I personally do not make enough content for TikTok, because my stuff does really well when I do it.
Yeah.
yeah, young people are definitely on there, and there's so many people on TikTok, so it's worth putting your content out. Someone told me a while back it's never a bad thing to double post content. So if you're putting a post on Twitter, don't be afraid to also put it on Instagram, because different people are scrolling different platforms at different times.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Rich is saying he had Mel on the Saturday Night Live. So Figsy, in case you don't know, so Rich is a UK reseller, but he does a live on Saturday night. So sometimes it's
I'll
pre-recorded,
have to give
sometimes
Rich
it's
a
live.
follow.
Yeah, give him a follow. He's really good. But yeah, Mel is fantastic. She's so knowledgeable, and I've seen in Mel's videos over the last sort of 6 months or so, she's gained so much more confidence as well. She's really
100%.
what she does.
Her videos have gotten so much better. Sorry, I'm just looking for Night's Life's channel.
No, that's fine. If you struggle to find it, if you go through my subscriptions on
No,
YouTube,
I've got it. I just found it. I copied his name and posted it in chat.
Yeah, honestly, he puts out some really good stuff. And actually, I'm hopefully Rich, if Rich gets me a time and date, hopefully going to be joining him and JR Reselling, who he does the live with actually on that Saturday Night Live. I'm so excited because that's going to be my first UK live chat with someone. So that's really cool. So yeah, excited to go on that, and hopefully I'll be catching up with Rich at Walton Apscourt Farm car boot sale very soon as well. So,
and if anyone wants to work with me in the future, just feel free to send me a message. I'm really excited to work with any other creator or reseller or collector. I'm easy to approach, so don't be afraid.
So thinking about reselling then, what tip would you give to someone who's just starting a reselling page on eBay? So if you think about you when you first started reselling, what tip would you give to a newbie?
Well, firstly, I did eBay wrong. Like, I can go back to my first post on eBay and point out 10 different things I did wrong. So yeah, so many different things in just listing. But in saying that, I still got sales. So you're not going to get sales unless your listings up. Do excuse me. I just need to blow my nose for a second. I'm just gonna
no, you're fine. I'll talk. So yeah, what you're just saying there is absolutely spot on. And my advice to people is the biggest tip I would say to people on eBay is to go out, buy some stuff, and you will make some mistakes. So don't be scared if you do buy the wrong things, but take your time when listing items on eBay. It's so important because it's so tempting just to actually get the listings up really quick, but that's where you make a lot of your mistakes. So if I could go and start again, I would probably grow slower than I initially did. I wanted to get my eBay store up to 1,000 items within the first sort of 2 months, really. And that was
I don't think that's a bad thing to do. And I'll throw a perspective at that because I've tackled bad inventory in a very good way.
Yeah, great.
It was a tip from, was it New York Picker? It might have been from the New York Picker.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to think. It may have been from someone else. But before I get to that, going back on new listings, and this tip came from Mel, and it's probably the single biggest thing that has increased my sales, and that's having a white background for your listings.
Yeah.
I just went to Bunnings and bought like a $20 sheet of Plurite. I take every photo on that. And then there is actually a genuine reason behind that. Now, eBay pay Google a lot of money, and not just a lot of money. eBay are actually Google's #1 payout for advertisement, and eBay push your listings onto Google Shopping. If you click on Google Shopping, type in a product that you sell, and see if your listing's up there. If it's not, it's probably because you don't have a white background. Majority of those photos are all going to have white backgrounds. And the reason behind that is the actual requirement to be on Google Shopping is to have a white background. And I was thinking about this last night because I was looking at some of James's listings and he doesn't actually have the white background. So we were chatting just before the podcast. And then I was saying that I had 1,200 impressions and 1,800 of them came from Google Shopping. Before I was doing this, I had 0 coming from that.
It's crazy,
so
isn't it? The amount of difference.
20%, and that's a real number. So yeah, it's
yeah,
true.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting because I think with the amount of things you take in and listen to, I've heard real mixed things about the white background doesn't matter, because a lot of people used to use, I think it's called photo room, to actually take the background out and stuff. But then a lot of people like yourself have said, actually, I've used a white background and I've seen a real spike in impressions and also click throughs as well because of the Google shopping. So I need to consider that. And I might actually run a trial in my store for maybe the next 2 months or so.
Well, you might notice it, but you can actually see the statistics. If you go into eBay, go into your statistics, you can actually see external views.
Yeah, of course.
That's people clicking on your listing from another website. So unless you're sharing your listings, it's coming from Google searches.
Yeah, absolutely. So it might be worth
for me
running.
You're selling. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was saying it might be worth me running a bit of a trial for 2 months, just so I can maybe even put out a video on YouTube as well to say, look, this is what it was.
Can I have Figsy's chair? It's really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll just go back to the chair. Like, I don't like spending money. You know, I worked at a pawn shop. I like being tight. But 2 things to spend money on are expensive shoes and expensive chair, because your back and your feet are worth every cent.
What brand is that chair? It does look quite cool. Stand up again, Figsy. Let's have a look.
I think the name's here. It's called Typhoon.
Oh, Typhoon. Okay. I'll put that in the chat.
Very, very comfortable. It wasn't cheap. I think it was $400 or something, but I've had it for over a year. It still feels the same as the day I bought it. And I previously had a sore chair, and every day I used to have a sore back, and now I don't have a sore back. So.
And do you use that chair for gaming as well?
Well, yeah, I originally bought it because I was streaming 8 hours a day. Yeah. Now I'm sitting here listing on eBay and doing different things, making videos.
Still want to be comfortable. Okay, perfect. Well, we've been going for 40 minutes or so. Is there anything else you want to discuss? And if not, we can talk about how people can find you on Instagram and YouTube, etc., and all the other platforms you're on.
I just wanted to talk a little bit more about eBay and eBay listings.
Sure.
What we were talking about before.
Yeah.
So I've just lost my train of thought a little bit.
No, that's okay. So we're talking about the white backgrounds as giving you a real increase in click through and stuff as well.
Yeah. So continuing down, like I'm just literally visualizing as you're listing. Something that's helped me out is another tip is adding a SKU system to my eBay store. In particular for clothes and other items, I definitely have a SKU system. But at my work, we have a pawn shop with individual item numbers. I added the item number to all the SKUs in there, and it made my life so much easier at work. Scrolling down, once you've got your photo and everything in, you've got this next thing called item specifics, which most people ignore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had a phone call with eBay about 6 months ago, and eBay were hammering down, if you want to increase your sales, start ticking those boxes in.
Absolutely.
For the reason that, say you're selling a video game, a PS3 game, and you've made your listing and blah, blah, blah. You've done it really well, but you have ignored item specifics. And say that it's a Metal Gear Solid Konami title, and someone searches that title, and heaps of them pop up, and they're like, oh, this is overwhelming. They go through the left side of eBay, and they go, let me search by publisher. Click Konami. Sure. If you don't have that little box clicked, your listing will not come up. It takes 2 seconds. Look, I'm not going to go and search movie directors or, I'll put the author in for a book, but, I'm not going to put in maybe which version of the book it was, because people mightn't be looking for that. They might find that through the 10 or so listings that are up there. So,
of course,
just think, if I was searching for this product, what was something that I might do, or someone similar to me, or another buyer? So I try and get item specifics in. Adding best offers to every single item is very important. I do apologize, James. I do have a few more things I wanted.
No, you keep going. I was going to say I do all of that as well. I think the item specifics are really important, and I used to skip by them, but I learned quickly, and more so with the books actually recently. The more I filled in, the quicker they would actually sell. So
Yeah.
I've got a book here, for instance. So I would put the author, I'd put the book title, I'd put the fact it's a hardback. Then on some books, if I was selling it individually, I'll put if it's a first edition by looking at this page here.
Yep.
But I would always fill all of them item specifics in, including X library. I would tick no. Age range, I'd put young adult and adult. And I found by filling in more of them, it's going to put me at the top of the eBay search list, which is why I think the books have done really well for me. Whereas if I would have put the title, the author, hardback, and left all the other bits, I think eBay would have dropped me further down that list.
Exactly.
So if you want
and
to
you can actually see how many people can look for that, why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Even if it asks you to put in an MPN, I'll put in does not apply.
Yeah.
And it'll go from 600,000 possible searches to 900,000 possible searches.
Yeah.
Just by putting it does not apply.
I think what's important to let people know as well, what I've been taught, is only fill in the relevant ones as well. Because even on the books, there was a category called character, and it doesn't apply to books. So I do leave that one blank compared to putting something else in, because then it's just going to confuse the algorithm. You might get someone who's searching for Tom something, and it's going to bring them to your book, and they might see it. So that's your impression. And eBay's not going to like the fact you're getting all these impressions on something. So I tend to leave the non-relevant ones blank personally, but I know everyone's got a sort of different idea to that. So what do you do on things that aren't relevant?
I try and fill in as much as I can.
Yeah.
But again, if it's not relevant, I will leave it blank. I
Same
do
as
hate having that a little notification that says, you have 300 listings that aren't filled in, or you've got 600 listings that are missing things. But I do try and fill in as much as I can. Continuing down the listing, always have best offers. I have international shipping on every single item. I probably do 20% of my sales overseas. So it's worth doing it, working out the shipping yourself. Once you do start selling and posting, it just becomes second nature to you. But going on to the offer thing, I've got into a daily habit of sending out offers. I've also got into this daily habit, and I think this is one of the best things that I've ever implemented in my store. I got it from the New York Picker. So you can arrange your eBay by, so I'll just rephrase this. Most of us have bite nows, not auctions. So you can rephrase it by end time. So I'll always do it by end time. And for my listings, they're ending in the next 24 hours. I'll go and knock their prices down by 5%. I'll do this every single day. Once I get to the last listing, I'll go to the SKU and put up to here so I don't lose track of where I'm up to. This means after 30 days, all of my stock is being slowly discounted. And, if after 6 months, it's probably been dropped 30%. So if it hasn't sold by then, and then
it's good.
Sorry, you go ahead.
No, that's what I was saying. It's a good tip to do that when it gets to the 28 days, to drop it down 5% and keep an eye on that. It's kind of running that reduction sale in a way across your whole store constantly.
Exactly. And I like to do it myself, because some items I might want to drop the price by that much because they're highly collectible, but other items I might be like, yes, let's push this out and get rid of it. I've got a bottom dollar for DVDs at $4.75.
Sure.
So once an item's been sitting at that price for 3 months, I donate it. So the way I see it is, after 2 years, I will not have the same inventory I've got right now. It'll all either be marked down, got to a point where it's either sold or it's been donated. So you don't want to have dead stock on your eBay store.
No, absolutely. I just want to highlight Chris's comment here. So Cooking Hayden is another UK eBay reseller. Someone I would definitely recommend following as well if you don't already. He does a really cool duck race on a Monday, and you're going to probably be really confused about what all that is.
I am, but I'm intrigued. So I'll have to
give him a follow. He's really cool. And he's spot on here. Never write N/A manually. Leave it.
See, I have heard that. But I haven't seen a negative impact in writing it, so I'm going to continue to do it.
Yeah,
It's usually just for like certain numbers that are on the backs of things. I
yeah.
will
See,
note that if you
I
write an incorrect number, suddenly, and you go to, you know how you can download your eBay quality report? If you've got an
absolutely, yeah.
incorrect number, it will appear on that quality report, or it will appear as a Google shopping rejection or something like that.
Yeah, see, I've heard the NA message as well. What Chris said. I think eBay put, I think it was from a YouTuber who spoke to eBay who said actually that can have a negative effect for you. But again, whether that's true or not, I think it's all speculation. I don't think eBay have ever come out officially, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, and said not to do it. But I'm the same. I just leave it blank because I don't want to get the algorithm confused and stuff as well. I
No,
think,
that's
and I think Andy was talking about your chair, 299 from Office Works. It's cheap.
no. Hey, y'all's gamer, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Another one of the subscribers.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining. Sorry, carry on. You were saying more about the stuff you do with eBay. So you were saying about, best offer. I have best offer on. I think best offer is really important. I'm always quite surprised when people say they don't have best offer on. I don't understand
I never used
why
to
you would do
because
that. Yeah.
I'm like, I used to sell thinking, all right, I'm defensive. My stuff's online for what I've got it for. I'm getting that.
Yeah.
And, no one's going to message me and lowball me.
Yeah,
But that's
of course.
the wrong attitude to have. It's not daily refinement. It is his Tech and Sports has a quote that I actually live by today is you can make all of the money sometimes or some of the money all times.
That's the quote I live by as well, by following along and listening to Tech for Tech's. Do you know what? Tech's a really interesting guy actually, and I think if he started a YouTube channel, he would get millions of subscribers because he knows so much. But he does on a Tuesday in the US, so I catch up on the Wednesday. He does a live sort of question answer with people in the groups, and the other day I think it went on for nearly 9 hours. Where people asking him questions and they're just all chatting reselling. It's really cool actually. So on a Wednesday, that's kind of my listen when I'm listing up all my stuff.
Yeah, I know. I listen to the podcast sometimes and list stuff.
Yeah,
so
but his quote is that, and I go by that now. I used to always be the case of if someone offers me something, I would sometimes counter offer it, 50p higher or £1 higher and lose that sale.
Yeah,
but
and I never do that anymore. You're right.
Yeah.
Unless the only exception is if I've listed it that day.
Yes.
If I've listed it that day, I'll decline it. But if I've listed it, 2-3 days later, I'm accepting offers. I've got a theory that sometimes if your sales have been slow and you get, say, a lowball offer on, say it's a DVD you've had up for 2 months, you don't have any attachment to it, you're not losing out on money. I'll just accept that offer and it opens the floodgates, and then all these sales just start to come through.
I think that's a reseller eBay theory because I'm the same. If I get an offer in the morning and it's lowball, I think to myself, do you know what? Even if I'm making a slight loss or just a little bit of profit, I'll accept it. Because then you're right, it opens up the floodgates for the rest of the day. And yeah, like Chris is saying here, when you buy an item to resell, you often negotiate. So why would you expect your buyers to not want to do the same? Exactly. And I think that's spot on when it comes to having offers on because, you can always reject an offer. I always say to people, don't just reject an offer, counter back. Because eBay likes to see you looking to work and negotiate as well. So I think it's important to have best offer on. I don't think there's anything to lose by doing so, personally.
No. 100% not. And you might have an item that only sells twice a year on eBay and you've got one of them. You should be grateful to get that offer. That one person decided to give you the chance to sell it. Why don't they give someone else the chance to sell it? If you don't take that, you might get a sale for 6 months.
And Figsy, what promotions do you use in your store then? So do you...
I have every single listing promoted. I use 2% for the majority of items. Video games, I use 4% because it's more competitive.
Yeah.
And then certain things that I really want to sell, I'll have higher. I just remembered I forgot to tell you something, and it was a conversation that was our first ever conversation. So if I go back to, you asked me a question half an hour ago, was my greatest ever pickup. I told you there was 2. I only told us about 1.
Okay, let's go back to the other one.
So the other one was actually my most recent YouTube video. So I'm still in the process of selling it.
Mhm.
But I went to a garage sale 2 weeks ago. It was huge. There was a huge backyard, and he probably had 60 blankets with stock on every single one. And I'd found out from another lady at a previous garage sale that this guy buys storage containers,
Mhm.
and that's why he's got so much stock. So anyway, I'm looking through and I found video games. I'm like, I'm stoked. No one's looked at them yet. Sweet, I got cheap video games. It was a great score. But anyway, as I'm going through the garage sale, these books got my eye. And I don't really do books. I've probably got 100 on my store. I don't buy them because they don't sell that quickly. And I sometimes get them for free. So, I don't usually do books. But I looked at these books and they were Dungeon and Dragon books. And they had
Mhm.
Wizards of the Coast on them. And they were hardcovers. And they were really nice looking. So I walked up to the owner of the garage sale and I'm like, hey, how much for your Dungeon and Dragon books? And he goes, well, you're the first person to ask me about them. And there were 60 people here this morning. If you don't buy them, they're going to go in the bin. So for $20, you can take all of them. So I'm like, all right, I'll buy them for $20. At that point, I still didn't know if I had that good of a deal or anything. I then looked one of them up on eBay and it was $90. There wasn't any listings, but there was a sold. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. I filled the car up. There was so many. There was like 85 of them.
That's amazing.
Anyway, fast forward 24 hours, I decided I'm going to get all these online tonight. I listed them all for $3,500. Within a week and a half, I've already sold over $1,000 worth. So yeah, that was
Wow.
a pretty insane pickup.
Yeah, that was our first Instagram conversation actually. Because I said to you that before I started doing books, I would have walked straight past them Dungeons and Dragons. But
Yep,
I know it goes for
100%.
good money, so I think it's
Thank you,
important.
Mel, for that
Yeah.
pickup. I probably wouldn't have got it without you.
Exactly. This is why I think YouTube's great, because I watch a lot of channels, and sometimes the wife says to me, I know you do YouTube now, but why is it for years you've watched people go around boot sales and pick things up? Do you enjoy like listening to people at a car boot sale? I said, well, partly that, but partly also to find out what things sell. So if you see someone go to your local car boot sale and pick something up, when you go on Sunday to your car boot sale, you might see the same item and think, for instance, Chris cooking the Haydens picked it up at the weekend, and he said it could sell for this amount of money, so it's worth me grabbing. So it's all about learning, all about increasing your knowledge with reselling. Because someone else asked me the other day, how do you know what to buy? And the truth is, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have to take that calculated risk. But with the eBay app, you can always just have a quick look up online, which is really handy to do as well.
Exactly. And coming from being a collector, I've got a unique thing where I can tell you the price of pretty much every PS3 game. I can walk into a shop and be like, that's $5, that's $50, that's $30. So
Yeah.
I was walking into cash converters, spending $50, walking out with $500 worth of stock some days because they weren't looking them up on eBay.
Sure.
They do these days because they know what I do now.
They're more cottoned on now, yeah.
But no, I had to adapt and to look things up that, I've never sold this before. I've never seen it before. But I seen someone sell something similar on YouTube, so maybe I'll do a bit of research. So like I like to say to people, I don't know the value of everything, but I know how to look things up. And, if you know how to do that, you can do anything.
So Tat Doctor Ian is saying Chris does some awesome car boot videos, well worth a sub. Genuine, honest, and fun channel. Absolutely, Chris's car boot sales are really fun to watch actually, and he's really good at negotiating. And I realised when I've done my first car boot sale video this weekend, I don't negotiate enough. Someone will tell me a price, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll pay that, or it's a straight out, oh no, I won't pay that. So I think I need to get a bit better with actually negotiating with people. People are there looking to sell their items, so it's worth negotiating as long as they're getting a fair amount as well. But yeah, his videos are really cool. And I said the Monday Live is very fun. I need to make sure.
I'm lucky to have worked in a pawn shop, so you pick up very good negotiating skills working into a pawn shop.
Of course. Absolutely. So we've talked YouTube, we've talked reselling. Anything else you want to have a chat about?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything. I had a couple of things written down. We've got them. Are there any questions from anyone in chat? Happy to answer anything.
Absolutely. So if the chat have got any questions, please pop them in. We're happy to answer. But in the meantime, I will link all of this information into the bottom of the video once it goes live on YouTube. But where can people find you, your channel, and yeah, where's best to contact you if they want to get in touch over maybe a gaming collection they want to sell, etc.
So Figsy Games on YouTube. But if you do want to contact me, I'm on Instagram. I'm over on Twitter. I've got a Discord channel which you can find. I'll send you a link for that. We can link that below as
Yeah,
well.
we can link it all. Yeah.
I'm also on Facebook. I have an eBay page on the same name. Funnily enough, I've had a lot of YouTube viewers message me on eBay simply asking me collecting questions. So I really enjoy that. I try to respond to absolutely everyone, regardless of where you're messaging me. But yeah, it's Figsy Games on everywhere. It's the same name, usually with the underscore as well.
Sure. And what I'll do, Figsy, I'll link all of this in the bottom of the description as well, so people can give you a follow on your channel as well. Do subscribe. He puts out really good, I know he's probably going to get embarrassed me saying this, but puts out really good videos actually. And they're not your typical YouTube videos, as it were. And it's a real variety of not just buying and selling. There's a lot of different content on his channel. So
yeah, hopefully there's something for everyone. So like, you know, I like to say that I'm not into books, and I like Mel's channel.
Yeah,
but, you know, you watch channels for different people and different
people.
Like
Absolutely. So
I like
Chris
to improve on every video. I've made almost 500, so if I haven't gotten decent at this point, you know, something's wrong.
So Chris is saying he used to be a buyer cash generator or cash converters. I think they're all kind of similar as well.
Yeah,
I've been in there a few times, and I think they're a lot more cottoned on now to how much things go for. I think you're right. I think they look up prices a lot more. Same as a lot of our charity shops now. You can't necessarily get a bargain most of the time in a charity shop anymore. And you sometimes
it depends on the people working there, their experience, the manager.
Yeah.
You know, if the manager comes from a reselling background, they're going to drill that into all the employees.
Absolutely.
If I like to think, if you know, okay, a good example is, so you know how there's a lot of disparity in op shops right now with, say, cutlery and stuff that was really popular in the 90s that is cheap today, but you'll go into an op shop and people will have $200 or £200 on it. And people will be like, look at this price. It's 4 times the price of eBay. Well, I like to think maybe the lady that works there used to run a store in the 90s where this was worth $1,000. And she hasn't cottoned on that this isn't worth anything these days. So, you know, you just have to think maybe from this person's perspective, it's still a good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's the same in Australia, but now in some of our charity shops, they actually have a sign what says our price, it might be £100, eBay price £140. So you can tell they're actually going to do the research. And
I've seen photos online. I live I'll say the city I live in is a little bit more social, economically lower. So things are a little bit cheaper here.
Sure. And then sometimes you have to educate the people in the charity shop in a nice way to say, you know, you're saying it's £140 on eBay, but is that a sold price? Because I could list up, you know, this book again, we'll pull the book out. I can list this book up for £4,000 on eBay if I wanted to.
Someone buys it.
But is it ever going to sell? So, yeah, sometimes we have to have a chat with the people in the charity shop to actually tell them, you know, have you looked at solds for this? Because actually it only sells for £60, you know, that kind of thing. So
I walked into a store a couple of weeks ago and there was Xbox games for $15 each.
Yeah.
And I said to the lady, these are $5 on eBay. And as I'm walking out, she says, would you like to buy them for $5 each? And I bought one of them. And I said, no, but I appreciate that. And she said, I'm going to change the prices on them, you know.
Yeah, and I think if you do it in the right way, people appreciate it. I think if you go into somewhere and you say, oh, you won't sell it for that, that'll be sitting there for months and it's too expensive, blah, 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 people will take offense. But I think if you're just genuine and say to people, look, to be honest with you, this is what you can get it online for. So you want to be cheaper than the online cost because you don't want it sitting around here for ages. If you do it in the right way, I think people do understand.
And I'll flip that onto an employee perspective. Like if someone used to say that to me in the pawn shop,
yeah,
I wouldn't take it as disrespect. I would take it in here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give them a discount or anything. But as soon as they leave, I'm online researching this price.
They're right.
Going,
They're right. Yeah.
We don't want to be
Yeah.
undercutting ourselves, or you don't want to be ripping the customer off. So some
Perfect.
people are genuine, some people are just, that'll never sell, and then it sells the next day for that price that you had on it. That happens just as much.
Yeah. Okay, so we haven't got any more questions in the chat, but if you guys have any questions after, please drop them in the comments and we can both jump on and answer them. Figsy, I just want to say thank you so much. It's my first chat with someone from Australia on my live on the coffee pod here, so I really appreciate you giving me the time. I know it's evening time your end, so I appreciate that as well. And
I had a great time, James. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And as I say, if you ever want someone to come on your channel from the UK, happy to do so. It's all about that collaboration. So just give me a shout. But what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to link all Figsy's information in the section below. So please show him some love. And thank you all for joining us today.
Peace, guys.
Cheers, guys. Take care.